Hello friends, welcome to engineering tutorial. In my previous video related to frequency modulation, we discussed about some of the concepts related to frequency modulation, such as its bandwidth defined by Carson's rule, modulation index, sidebands, and representation of a frequency modulated signal in terms of the modulation index. So in today's video we will be discussing about the spectrum of frequency modulation. So let's get started. We know that a frequency modulated signal is represented by the given mathematical expression, which is given by E cos omega ct plus beta sin omega mt, where beta is the modulation index, omega subscript c is the carrier frequency, and omega m is the message signal frequency, and E subscript c is the amplitude of the carrier signal. Now if we apply this identity, trigonometric identity, here in this part, cos omega ct plus beta sin omega mt, we will get this expression. Okay, cos a plus b is equal to cos a cos b minus sin a sin b. This trigonometric identity we applied here. So we got this expression. Okay, now there are two interesting things which are involved in this expression. First is this part, cos beta sin omega mt, and second is this part, sin beta sin omega mt. These two parts are represented by applying Bessel's equation. Okay, here are the Bessel's formula for these sort of expressions or these sort of terms. Okay, so first we have cos beta sin omega mt. We know that a cos function is always an even function. So here in this term we apply this formula, cos z sin theta is equal to j0 as j subscript 0 as a function of z plus 2 into summation of n equals to 1 to infinity j as a subscript of 2n as a function of z cos 2n theta. This is the Bessel's expansion for cos or even functions involving cos z sin theta. So when we apply this identity here, cos beta sin omega mt, we get this expression. Okay, so j0 as a function of beta plus 2j as subscript 2 as a function of beta cos 2 omega mt plus 2j4 beta cos 4 omega mt plus 2j2n cos 2n omega mt. Now one thing to note here is that as cos is an even function, all the Bessel's coefficients are of even type. See, j0, j2, j4 and j2n. Okay, this identity cos z sin theta expansion form is applied here. Now the second term, the interesting term which is involved here, is this part, sin beta sin omega mt. Okay, so sin beta sin omega mt, to expand this we use this identity, sin z sin theta, which is equal to 2 into summation of n equals to 1 to infinity j as a subscript of 2n minus 1 as a function of z sin 2n minus 1 theta. So we get sin beta sin omega mt expansion in form of 2j1 as a function of beta sin omega mt plus 2j3 beta as a function of j3 as a function of beta into sin 3 omega mt plus 2j subscript 2n minus 1 as a function of beta sin 2n minus 1 omega mt. So here, as we know, sine is an odd function, so all the Bessel's coefficients are of odd number type, j1, j3, j5, j7 up to j 2n minus 1. So what we do is that we basically substitute these two expansions in place of these two terms. Okay, we substitute these two values, cos beta sin omega mt expansion and sin beta sin omega mt expansion, here in this expression. So we'll get a very lengthy and complicated expression which we have not covered here. So I recommend you that you substitute these two expansions here and try to solve it yourself. I will be covering this part, this expansion part in detail, the derivation in detail in a separate video. But just to make you understand, I have given this, so you can try it at home. I will be posting a video related to the detailed derivation of this in my upcoming videos. So today we are only going to cover the spectrum part. Okay, so we finally get the spectrum of a frequency modulated signal in terms of Bessel's expansion in the form of this. EFMT, which is the frequency modulated signal as a function of time, is equal to EC summation of n equals to 0 to infinity Jn as a function of beta cos omega c plus minus n omega mt. Here Jn as a function of beta are the Bessel's coefficients, omega c is the carrier frequency, omega m is the modulating signal frequency, EC is the carrier signal amplitude. So this is the spectrum of a frequency modulated signal. Now let us see at the diagram of the spectrum of a frequency modulated signal. So here it is a plot between frequency on the x-axis and amplitude in the y-axis. So this part, it is the carrier frequency which has the maximum amplitude, which is given by EC into J0 as a function of beta. On its either sides we have Fc plus Fm and Fc minus Fm having amplitudes of ECJ1 beta respectively. So here if you calculate the bandwidth here, Fc plus Fm minus Fc minus Fm, we get 2Fm. Okay, the bandwidth here in between these 2 points. Similarly, we have Fc plus 2Fm and Fc minus 2Fm. Here the bandwidth will be 4Fm. Similarly, we get up to Fc plus NFM and Fc minus NFM. The total bandwidth will be 2NFM. The amplitudes will always be in terms of the respective Bessel's coefficient of the respective order n, defining n as a function of beta multiplied with the carrier signal amplitude. Okay, now these two are the first pair of sidebands. Okay, define the first pair of sidebands. These two, the second pair of sidebands. Similarly, after that we have the third pair of sidebands up to the nth pair of sidebands. Okay. So in frequency modulation, as I said before in my previous video, that there are many number of sidebands. Okay. So here we have ECJ0 beta as the amplitude of the carrier signal, ECJ1 beta as the amplitude of the first pair of sidebands defined by the frequencies Fc plus minus Fm, ECJ2 beta as the amplitude of the second pair of sidebands defined by the frequency Fc plus minus 2Fm, and then similarly for the nth pair of sidebands we have ECJn beta as the amplitude having for the nth pair of sidebands having frequency Fc plus minus NFM. So this is the diagram of the spectrum of a frequency modulated signal. And this is the message signal frequency having amplitude Em and frequency Fm, F subscript m. Next, types of frequency modulation. Now the types of or the categories of frequency modulation are dependent on a parameter called as modulation index. Okay, modulation index, which we have discussed in the previous video. Now, what is modulation index? It is the ratio between the frequency deviation and the modulation signal frequency. So, you can check out that video related to modulation index, bandwidth, frequency deviation in my channel. So, depending on modulation index, frequency modulation is of two types: wideband FM or WBFM and narrowband FM, NBFM. First, we will discuss wideband FM. So, when the modulation index or beta value is very large, we will have large number of sidebands. Okay, total, as we discussed, as per the Carson's rules, number of sidebands is given by beta plus 1. So, when beta value is large, the number of sidebands will also be large. Beta plus 1 is the number of sidebands defined by Carson's rule. So, when the value of modulation index will be large, the number of sidebands will also be large. So, that type of frequency modulation is called as wideband frequency modulation. So, let us see what happens when beta value is very large. So, that means that the ratio between the frequency deviation and the modulation signal frequency is large. This is the modulation index formula. So, we have the frequency deviation much greater than the modulation signal frequency. As per Carson's rule, the bandwidth of a frequency modulation signal is given by 2 into delta f plus fm. So, as delta f is much greater than fm, we can ignore the modulation signal frequency part. So, we can approximately write the bandwidth of a wideband frequency modulated signal as twice of the frequency deviation to delta f. Okay. Next, in other ways, we can also express this as, we know that bandwidth is equal to 2fm into beta plus 1. The same thing here we have written in another way. So, as beta is much greater than 1, we can ignore the 1 and just replace it with beta. So, we have the approximate value as 2fm beta for wideband frequency modulation. Then we have the narrowband frequency modulation. So, when the value of modulation index is very small or beta is much lesser than 1, so the number of sidebands will be less, and this is called as the narrowband frequency modulation or NBFM. So, let us see what happens when the modulation index value or beta is much lesser than 1. We can also write it as delta f by fm is much lesser than 1, or delta f is much lesser than fm, that is, frequency deviation is much lesser than the modulation signal frequency. We know that as per Carson's rule, bandwidth of a frequency modulation signal is twice of the sum of frequency deviation and modulation signal frequency. So, as delta f is much lesser than fm, we can neglect the delta f part and simply consider the fm. So, we have the approximate value of bandwidth for a narrow band frequency modulated signal as twice of the modulation signal frequency. Same thing can be written in this way: bandwidth is given by 2fm into beta plus 1, which is the alternative formula. As beta is much lesser than 1, we can ignore the beta part. So, bandwidth, the approximate value of the bandwidth will be 2fm. Now, the interesting thing to note here is that for an amplitude modulated signal also, the bandwidth is equal to 2fm, that is for a double sideband suppressed carrier signal. For single sideband it is only fm, but for a double sideband suppressed carrier amplitude modulated signal, the bandwidth is equal to 2fm, which is also same as that of narrowband frequency modulated signal. So, this is an interesting correlation between frequency modulation and amplitude modulation. So here in this video we have discussed about the spectrum of a frequency modulated signal and the types of frequency modulated signal depending on the value of modulation index. So I hope you like this video. Please subscribe my channel Engineering Tutorial for more such videos related to electrical, electronics, instrumentation and communication engineering. Have a great day. Thank you very much.